Get your beignets ready because the LSU Tigers are coming home to play for a national championship. My sister lives in New Orleans. I know all about New Orleans and the jambalaya and the beignets and all the baked goodies that will make you real fat real quick. Bourbon Street bouncing right now, 63-28. If you had the under, wow. If you had Oklahoma plus 14, sorry about that. LSU putting on an absolute clinic against Oklahoma. Joe Burrow throws for 7 touchdowns and rushes for 1. 8 total touchdowns for Joe Burrow, the Heisman Trophy winner. Most ever in a bowl game. 8 total touchdowns. And LSU will be playing for a national championship for the first time since 2011. Game Dermers here with Bryant McFadden. We have been here. We have covered all season long. We have watched Joe Burrow become the best player in the country, and he validated that once again on this night. Heisman Trophy, 8 total touchdowns. How do you begin to describe what you saw in Atlanta?
It was amazing from Joe Burrow and the offense from LSU. The entire team. Going into today's matchup, I knew he would have success. I didn't think 7 touchdowns, right? Along with the rushing touchdowns, 8 total touchdowns. No one saw that. I mean, 493, that's doable. We've seen Joe put up outstanding yards through the air. But 8 total touchdowns. He threw 7 in the first half. All of his work was done in a half of play. And then defensively, I know when you talk about this matchup, you're going to highlight the offense, but what about LSU's defense? The last few weeks, their defense has been really, really good. We saw a huge letdown in performance and production against Mississippi. They won that ball game, but they had issues, especially against a mobile quarterback. And some people felt like Jalen Hurts, with the mobility that he has, the way he's been running the football in OU's offense, that he could provide an issue for LSU. I mean, the first few drives, LSU, they neutralized Jalen Hurts. CeeDee Lamb was not able to get off. They couldn't do anything offensively against LSU. And I know the Sooner fans will highlight the missed PI call. I'm right there with you. That was a missed call. You cannot miss that call if you're the referees, because it was a close ball game. I think at that time the score was 14-7.
14-7, 4 minutes to go in the first
That was a
quarter.
third down play. That should have been an automatic first down, an opportunity for OU to continue that drive to potentially get into the red area. But outside of that missed call, they didn't fight. They didn't fight. They got out-coached. They got outplayed. The effort was not there. And they had no answer for Joe Burrow and that LSU's offense.
What does this performance say about LSU and being ranked #1 going in? Because remember, there was controversy that Ohio State should be number 1. LSU winning the SEC championship took the top spot when the final rankings were released. And you and I talked about it. We said, look, Ohio State is very, very good, very deserving coming back to the Big Ten championship. But to see what LSU did against Georgia,
Florida,
one of the best defenses in the country.
Alabama, Texas early in the year on the road. This is a team that has been battle tested. And I like Ohio State. I love the balance they have on both sides of the football. But their resume is not as impressive as LSU. The committee got it right. The committee got it right. I have no issues with the seeding. LSU, the clear-cut #1, followed by Ohio State, Clemson, and then Oklahoma. And we all felt like out of the 4 teams, the team that did not, scare you would be Oklahoma because of their issues on the defensive end, especially in the secondary. And that came to light tonight against LSU there in Atlanta.
They were missing several key defensive starters, including their starting safety, Delarian Turner-Yell. And I don't know that even had they had all their starters,
it didn't matter,
that LSU wouldn't have put on a clinic like this.
No.
I mean, when you look at a game like this, this is one of the single greatest performances in bowl history. 8 total touchdowns for Joe Burrow. I mean, 7 passing touchdowns in the first half. He gets 1 rushing in the third quarter. He gets taken out of the game because they no longer need him. I mean, that's how big of a blowout this game was B-Mac. And you said it perfectly at halftime. It was like a 2-year-old throwing a toddler, throwing a temper tantrum.
No question.
Because Oklahoma was over. I mean, granted, they scored 14 points in the second half. They didn't give up, but there was no way they were coming back. This team is too good, too talented. And you look at how this team was constructed in Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow at Ohio State, sits behind J.T. Barrett, gets passed over at Dwayne Haskins, transfers to LSU, has a solid season last year. I don't know that we saw last year was like, hey, you know what, next year he's going to win the Heisman Trophy and he's going to leave the #1 ranking and leave the national championship. I don't think we could have projected that.
No. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And the thing that I love about Joe, he's so cool. He's so relaxed. You don't know if the game started or is over when you watch him on the sideline. He gives you the same facial expression every single time the camera's on him, and he plays the same way. Because of that, the moment is never too big for him. And I can tell you this much, I know there's always been that ongoing debate about adding a team in the playoffs. Well, let's go from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8. No, tonight, that ball game and there in Atlanta proved that 4 teams is the best route to go. You know why? Because if you take out Oklahoma, you insert Oregon, the same thing potentially would happen. I'm not saying they would give up 40-plus points in a half a play, but they would get blown out. If you take out Oregon, insert Utah, the same thing would have happened. If you take out Utah and insert Baylor, whoever, the same thing would have happened. This team they're just that good. They're the #1 team in the country, so why add teams? You're diluting the product if you do that. Some of these teams would not be deserving to compete against the 4 best teams, in my opinion. I think it's good how it is right now, 4 teams, and allow the best team to win and get to that championship level.
Yeah, there's no question about it. The top 3 teams are the elite of college football.
Yeah, the question mark was Oklahoma.
It was all. And that's why I think most people wrote them off.
And the thing is, for me, I'm right there with you. The question, the team that had the most concerns was Oklahoma. But how can you remove them and put in a 2-loss team, right?
Right.
How?
You could, right, you cannot.
That's the thing. They were a 1-loss team.
The committee looked at Oklahoma as being the 4th best team in the country.
And they won their conference. They had 1 loss. In my opinion, I think Oregon probably is a better team from top to bottom when you compare Oregon and Oklahoma, but they had 2 losses. That loss coming from Arizona State, that was the tell-all be-all for Oregon and not being able to get into the playoffs. So for me personally, Hakeem, 4 teams is the way to go, because you can say whatever you want to say, make your debate about, well, they wouldn't have got beat that bad. They would have lost. Whatever team you would like to insert, yeah, it's true, potentially. Yeah, they probably wouldn't have got beat that bad. They wouldn't have covered. Whoever you want to insert, they would not have covered. It's not about winning. Could they even cover the ball game when it comes to betting? No. 4 teams, that's the way to go.
It is the way to go. And now there's 2 teams playing the other spot.
We got another good
Ohio State and Clemson. You look at LSU. Do they care who they see in the national championship?
I mean, now, if you're LSU, and I'm just speaking as a former player, give me the team that has never been there before. Give me the staff that has never been there before, because this is a big moment. I don't want Dabo. Dabo was the best coach in the playoffs, in my opinion.
I don't think anybody would disagree.
He's one of the best coaches in college football. Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney. I don't want Dabo Swinney, and I don't want Boy Wonder. You know who Boy Wonder is? Trevor Lawrence, with the nice hair. That's how you flick his hair, with the nice hair. You know what he's been doing the last 6 ball games, Hakeem?
No INTs.
20 touchdowns total.
INTs.
0 interceptions. He's playing like he played towards the latter part of last year going into the postseason. And when he's playing like that, the only quarterback that's playing better than Trevor Lawrence, Joe Cool.
24-0 as a starter. Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
oh, yeah, just
Clemson's won 28.
That's a nice nugget. I don't want. Yeah.
Clemson's won 28 straight.
And it's kind of hard to say, you know what? If I'm LSU, I don't want Clemson. Give me Chase Young, right? I mean, there's no easy way out when you have to decide who do you want to play. I mean, both teams. I like both teams.
Right.
I'm just I'm just talking about the experience factor. You know what I mean?
Well, there's great storylines on both sides. If they meet Clemson, they get a chance to take down the reigning national champ.
Yes.
Right? They get to match against the best. Like, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Ohio State, it's all about Joe Burrow, right? Because then it's his old team. And it also goes back to 2008, the 2008 BCS National Championship game, the 2007 season. It was LSU, Ohio State, where? In New Orleans. Who won? LSU. So it's a rematch of that. That's the other storyline. And of course, you know, he was coached by Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said he threw like a girl. He even confirmed that he didn't throw well. Joe Burrow, he took that that nitpicking, that he took that, you know, him kind of ragging on him, and he turned into this great quarterback. And he transferred to LSU, leads to a national championship appearance. This is their first appearance at the college football playoff. LSU, and now they're going home, virtual home game in New Orleans. Can you imagine what that scene's going to be like? January 13th, LSU, Bourbon Street. It's going to be massive.
They're going to be second line and all up and down Bourbon Street with the umbrellas and things. Nancy. Dun, 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 dun.
It's going to be insane. One of our experts who doesn't normally get things wrong, Barton Simmons, right? He was picking games at a 60-65% clip this season. Like, one of the best in terms of picking college football games. He's going to join us on the other side. He had Oklahoma in this game. Thoughts and prayers up to Barton Simmons. He's going to join us next here on HQ.